Welcome back, Founding Champions. It's Scott here, and I am so glad that you have joined me at this moment to see a new deck list that I've put up together. This is a Destruction Beast deck. It's a Turbo Quest deck, so we're looking to flip over our quests as fast as possible. And we're going to go ahead and start off here with the champion lineup. The hero lineup, we got 2 Savage Boar Boss and 2 Rip Tooth Mega Boss. And the reason why we have these is because this guy here is just one of the best beast heroes ever. Ever. When this champion deploys a beast unit, rotate it 1 step forwards after it has entered the play, unless it is clunky. And every beast in our deck is smooth and not clunky. And then we have Rip Tooth Mega Boss because it's just a really good destruction card. You can almost put any other, cards in here. So these two are only up to 4, so you have 16 remaining. You could play other things. Now, this card is just the best turbo rotation card out there, so that's why we are going to run that guy. Now for the blessing lineup, we do have the usual, and a nice little spicy one in here, Smash and Bash, a little mini Gordrak essentially. Cruising, oh, whoa, not you, you're banned. Never mind, we have Ushering of the Wall, put that right here. And then we have Caller of Domination, alright, and then I'll get into the last one. So Caller of Domination, it's so good against other destruction decks. It's just really good. A lot of times they do have their own beasts, and most destruction decks run 1 Savage Boar Boss, so they have plenty of beasts out there. And being able to make them all go dormant for 4 turns is pretty good. Pretty good. So that's one of the reasons why that's in here. And then all of our beasts are doing extra damage, rotating extra fast. It's just insane. And my most humblest of opinions. Okay, so the next one is also a new blessing that we don't see too often. It's Frenzied Charge, right here. Every time we play an orc, we draw a card. So we do have a lot of orcs despite a lot of beasts. Now if you don't like that card too much, you can play Might of Gork, or you can go ahead and swap that out with a Renewed Warlust. I won't dock you any points if you play that. So we do have this little Frenzied Charge. It's up to you guys, depends on what you want to do. Sometimes just drawing a billion cards, well, sometimes it can be bad for hands just full of beasts and beasts and abilities, but as long as you have 1 orc, you're alive, and being able to stack in a deck, you stack, draw a card, stack, draw a card. It's just really good. So we're gonna put that in there. Like I said, it can be Might of Gork or Renewed Warlust instead. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and pack these up for a second, and then we're going to go on to the units. So the unit choices are pretty standard, I guess you can say. We have 3 Pouncing Wolf Riders, just the good all-around beast, replacing itself in the other action. Took the draw the guy and does 2 damage. Pretty standard. And then we have 3 Trampling Gruntas. Has a little bonus effect of being able to make our opponent's spells and units dormant. And then having 2 guys, 2 Savage Boar Bosses that will start them off here, just getting off that effect right away. It's kind of like pseudo removal, just straight up. I can't deal with whatever threat you've put out right now, so I'm going to use Trampling Grunta, turn that lane off. And that is a huge form of tempo, which this game is a tempo advantage game. And then we have everyone's favorite stacking unit, Orc Scrappers, Orc Scrapers, however you like to say it. Just always an all-around good card. And it does damage later in its life cycle, so that is good for slowly rotating your Rip Tooth Mega Boss if you can't get the ability off right away and you're not looking to use removal to turbo rotate him. And then everyone's second favorite stacking card here, This card is just insane, doing that damage very, very quickly. 4 damage just straight away. 2, then 2 for that 4. Don't have to really wait very much. I'm going to stick that right here. And we got 2 Sweeping Gore-Gruntas. We only went with 2 of them in this deck. You can bump that up to 3 if you so please. It's just that it's pretty slow on the removal side unless you put it on the Savage Boar Boss. We don't have any way to turbo rotate our cards, our units, so that's why we were playing the Sweeping Gore-Grunta as a 2 of. We just don't want to draw too many of them. Otherwise our opponent will just literally not play anything and draw cards and wait for these to go away. So we want to be a little more strategic than that. We got 2 Gore Chopper Brutes. Just have to make room for some more beast cards. We have 2 Big Stab Crews. Again, we can't turbo rotate our cards. So this guy is not as potent as he would be in the, let's see, the Loudmouth Mega Boss or Gordrak versions of the Destruction deck. 2 of them. Still very good card though. Still very good card. Orc Shield Bashers, just 1. Sometimes we play with 3 or 2. I think a lot of people play with 2, but I've moved it down to 1. Mosh Pit. Your average damage spell. Ability. I'm playing too much Magic the Gathering recently. I call everything a spell. 3 Deadly Chops. 2 Rallying Cry. Your good old average. You don't want more than 2 of these because you get too many. And a lot of times you'll end up Rallying Cry one guy. It's just that you want it early, but then you don't really want it too much. So you get too many, you can get flooded on them. And then 2 Grot Ambush. Just a really good card at turbo rotating those Savage Boar Bosses. And it's also good with Riptooth Mega Boss, believe it or not. So you get a guy, that guy does damage. Maybe they killed it, or maybe that was it for the guy. Then you just go ahead and use that ambush here, and then he will do damage next turn. So it is still a good card. It's 1 card that will rotate a champion twice. So that is just very good. That's why unit followed by damage is also very good on champions. And the Grot Ambush is just very good in general because it will rotate these guys twice, and here. So that is why we run those. We don't want 3 of them because if we naturally draw more than 1 Pouncing Wolf Rider, then the next one is it's just going to be dead. And we want to cut back on dead cards. We never really want to have dead cards. So guys, this is the deck. If you scroll down in the video just a little bit, you'll see the link. So that's something new I'm going to do, is I'm going to put the link in the description. That way you can, or a comment, whatever. That way you can go in, click it, and you get it in complete link form, and you can try and, put it into the app and then start playing right away. And you don't have to rewind and rewatch the video to get that list. You sort of get it just all right away. Now, a couple thoughts about this list. You do start off at 28 health. So you're starting off at that low health point, and that will put you at a slight disadvantage. You're getting a -1, and then 2 zeros. And then against decks that are starting at 33, 34, 35 health, your first card, is going to just put your opponent at par. Just ate dinner. So again, you're going to be at par on your first card or so, and that will put you at a disadvantage. So you have to sort of just be mindful about that. And then you have to use your Orc Shield Bashers a lot more strategically because you do only have 1. You're not going to get a chance to get multiples, or play it twice. So you're not just going to play a naked Bashers just for the sake of doing that. You're going to want to at least play it on something. You want to play it strategically. If you're really low on life, you can play it to just keep you alive for maybe an extra turn or 2 to slow them down. Wait for them to wait for this to go away or something like that. So that is my 2 thoughts on the cautions of this list. I have played this list on the app a few times, and I've yet to lose a game. Now, caveat, I haven't played on ranked with this list, okay? I sort of put the deck together. It did really well, and it was sort of beating other still very real decks. And I was just like, oh wow, I think this deck's actually pretty decent. So I wanted to get it to you. I wanted to get it in your hands. I wanted you to see it as soon as possible. This deck can use a lot of tweaking, I think. I think that there's some numbers we can fix. Like, do we want to play, you know, this set of cards at this number? Do we want to play them at that number? Do we want to reduce a little bit? Do we want to play some tactical formations? Because we do have to play 6 abilities, 6 of our 10 abilities to rotate all of our champions. So do we want to play some tactical formations? So if we don't get an ability straight away, we got 2 guys that can't rotate, and then 2 guys that get stuck. So yeah, again, do we want to put in a couple tact formations and be able to rotate easily? Say we've got a beast, but we don't have a grot ambush or a rallying cry, or we went first, so we've got nothing to kill, you know. So do we want to play a couple tact formations? And tact formation is really good against the death decks, and we're seeing a few more death decks in this game, and other destruction players are also playing more sweeping gruntas. So the ability to also just move our champion that has a guy out of a lane of danger is really good. So if they're just going to play a sweeping grunta and then make it slow and not rotate him right away, because I assume most people are going to play Loudmouth and Gordrak still, we're going to want to dodge and get out of the way. And what kind of cards we might want to dodge with, we may just even completely take out the Orc Shield Bashers just in its entirety. Same thing goes for like this guy or this guy. Maybe we just want to get rid of them. Just these cards are just very good. We've already put this to 2. A lot of people play it at 3. A lot of people play this at 2 or 3, and moving it to 1 is kind of awkward. Again, this is just, it's a good 1-2 punch also. So I'm going to change gears here for a second. Change gears. And this Staba crew, you place it in front of a Rip Tooth Mega Boss. It rotates them. It does some damage, you know, and if you play an ability, not you know, the kill spell, not the deadly chop, it will then do more damage. So having that 3 or 2 damages right in a row, with the first one not doing anything, is really good. Being at 3, that's why also putting this guy down on him is pretty good. While something like this does 2 damage, right? This guy is never going to be able to activate this last damage. He's only going to be able to do that one. So you'll see those sort of interactions while playing with the Destruction deck if you haven't already. So that's one of the reasons why I do like Big Stab a Crew and the Gore Choppa Brute. It's one of the reasons why I like them. And also, your opponent will likely want to play sort of some removal, say like Charging Black Knight or Frenzied Vargeist, or excuse me, is that what I'm talking about? Yeah, Frenzied Vargeist in front of this to try and kill it, right? You know, it then rotates, does its damage, and you're like, sweet. Well, now you're at a perfect scenario where they tried to deal with this. They took 1 damage, so you're not getting maximum effect of its first corner. But it opens them up to being deadly chopped. So a lot of people try and avoid putting anybody in front of this because he rotates so fast. Nobody wants to put a unit in front of this guy. People hate doing that, but they want to put a unit in front of them when thing faced with a big Staba crew. So they're in between a rock and a hard place. If they put a guy in front of this guy, they're completely leaving themselves open to getting this turbo quested. So again, Big Staba is just a really good card. So these are some hard choices that you have to make and that you will find through playtesting. So I do invite you to do some playtesting, do some theory crafting. Put it in the comments below what you think, how the numbers should be. Also, if you like Frenzied Charge in this deck or not, maybe it should be Renewed Warlust or Might of Gork. Just put it in the comments below. Tell me what you think. And guys, together we are the community. We are the 5th Grand Alliance. Thanks for watching.